Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This is Bucket Ponds, and my name is Terry. Today we are doing an update video on the most recent Ecosphere. I built this last week, and I want to show you how the tank has progressed over the last 7 days, and just get a good look at the life inside. I make a new video every week, so please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. I will, of course, include a link to the setup video in the description. But I wanted to show you all the life that's in here. During the setup video, the water has to settle and things have to calm down a little bit before you can get a good look at the pets that we captured from my pond. But here you can see a ton of ostracods, quite a few copepods, and several other very interesting creatures later in the video. For a little background, a ecosphere, in this sense, is a sealed bottle aquarium. It is essentially a pond in a bottle. I put a lot of effort and thought into this tank before I built it, and it's working. So this is a completely sealed project. The plants produce oxygen, they take up CO2. The animals that we see here, they produce CO2 and they take up oxygen. The plants and algae will grow and wilt over time. The animals inside will then consume this algae and this plant matter. And, they'll produce fertilizer for the plants. It's a self-sustaining system, you could say. An ecosphere is like an ecosystem in a jar. But here at Bucket Ponds, I never open these projects. I have not opened it. I haven't done anything to it. The water has settled down a little bit, and now we can get a good look at all of the life inside here. You can see tons of ostracods. They're very active. They're also called seed shrimp. And they are essentially tiny shrimp that have, like, tiny clam shells. And they swim around and consume any kind of material they can get their hands on in the tank. They're kind of like sea monkeys. They're fun to watch. And here I've just sped the video up a little bit, just so you can get a good look at the creatures inside. This is up near the surface. Those plants in the background are creeping Jenny stems that we planted in here. And I haven't seen them do any pearling yet. I haven't seen them producing, oxygen bubbles in streams. But they are alive, and they're starting to root. Here with the macro lens, you can see some detritus worms and some water mites and some other creatures. But the big surprise in this tank was this guy here. There's actually two. We have a dragonfly larva in the center of the frame, and a leech on the right. Yes. I tried to prevent any dragonfly larva from getting into this tank, but it seems we caught one anyway. I'm just wiping a little sand off there. But it seems as though we caught a dragonfly larva anyhow. And we did indeed capture at least one leech, and that's pretty interesting. There are leeches in my ponds, and they found their way there naturally. I can't tell if they're the blood-sucking vampire type, or if they're the kind of leech that will eat detritus. It turns out that some leeches are totally harmless. But we'll learn more about them, and we'll likely find out exactly what sort of leech this is as we observe this tank. Now, the dragonfly larva, he's very interesting. And here's a better view. We have a very brave ostracod here approaching him, nibbling on his leg, which is a bad idea. The dragonflies, especially in this larval form, they are voracious predators. They hunt and consume small animals, and there he goes. He just got that ostracod and spit him out. If you look closely at his gut, he's actually got 3 or 4 ostracods in there already. This guy is eating our ostracods, and that's pretty cool. Unexpected. Here's a better look at that same clip. The attack is so fast. Even with the video slowed down slightly, it's just invisible. It's like a lightning strike. He hit that ostracod so quickly, and he spit him out, I guess because he's full. He's obviously ate quite a few ostracods already. And here's our leech, that same leech from the previous scene. I still don't know too much about them. I have had them crawl up onto my hand at one point when I was transplanting some plants into the pool pond. But yeah, they didn't bite me. There was no blood. So I'm not sure. I'm still learning about them. And we got lucky to catch one in this tank. So maybe we can study it and to see exactly what foods it goes for. There is nothing in here that actually has blood, so it won't be able to drink any blood. And if it turns out to be a sort of leech that consumes detritus, then yeah, we'll find that out. We'll see it eventually, squirming around, moving into the soil layer, something of that nature. If it is in fact a vampiric leech, it will most likely die. So, yeah, I'm prepared to observe them, and I'm actually very happy to have captured one so that we can study them more closely. Also, there's another type of predator in this tank. This is called a green Hydra, and this is a bit like an anemone or maybe a jellyfish. They fix themselves to a surface, and they expand. See, he's contracted here. But they reach out with their tentacles, and they capture small creatures like paramecium, and then they consume them. And the Hydra is actually green because it has live algae in its cells. Live algae that produces nutrients for the Hydra. They're very interesting creatures. And here at the bottom of the tank, we don't have too much action going on around here. But I still wanted to observe it. You can see that a lot of the algae that I included has already been consumed by the ostracods. This was unexpected. I thought the algae would grow quite well in this tank, and it might still happen. But yeah, our creatures are there to help consume the algae and keep it under control, while it acts as a food source for them. And yeah, alright, so I've adjusted the lighting a little bit. You can get a better look. Here we have another clip of our excellent dragonfly larva here, and the green Hydra all around it. The Hydra are very interesting creatures, and I consider them to be something like a tiny swamp thing. They're a hybrid animal-algae creature, and, well, they basically keep the algae in their body, but it does feed them, and they can basically consume sunlight and live prey at the same time. If the algae grows out of control in their cells, they are set up to consume and digest the extra algae, as required. But if you look closely at that dragonfly's stomach, you can see he has ostracods inside. He is eating them. And that's pretty wicked. I didn't expect this. I actually tried really hard to make sure that we didn't get any dragonfly larvae in this tank. And I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. In previous ecospheres, I've had them run for almost, 6 months with a live dragonfly larva inside before it tried to become a dragonfly. So with this guy, when he goes to transition, oh, there's another brave ostracod. And is he going to snap him up? I wouldn't be surprised if he did, honestly. This guy is, he's a bit like a water tiger or some kind of strong predator in this ecosystem. But I've seen these dragonfly larvae stay small and stay in this aquatic form for several months before they try to transition. It could go, could rely on any number of factors that we do not yet understand. But when this does happen, I might be forced to open the tank and to release the young dragonfly when he grows up. But until then, we're going to keep it sealed, and we're going to continue to observe this tank. Oh, he moved a little bit. I wouldn't doubt it. He's probably going to eat that ostracod. But I wanted to show you guys this tank. It's full of life. We have leeches and dragonfly larvae and copepods and ostracods in here. It's a completely sealed system, a self-sustaining ecosystem. The plants produce oxygen. They, sustain life inside, while the animals themselves, feed on the plants and the algae. And it's a beautiful cooperative system. And I'm happy to share it with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of little creatures in here, and I could talk all day about this stuff. I wanted to take a moment to observe every aspect of the aquarium. I believe there are other dragonfly larvae in here as well, at least one or two, as well as a few different leeches, of course, and tons of these green Hydra. And I would not doubt that they are feeding on the paramecium in here. You can kind of see some of the paramecium down there in the bottom right. They are very small, very active creatures, and they breed pretty rapidly as well. But that thing dangling there towards the center right of the screen is a root from the creeping Jenny. It's starting to root already, and we should have a very powerful and healthy filter in this tank. But I'm very happy with it, and I think it's really cool to have all of this stuff just in a little sealed bottle Like, it's amazing to me. I had no idea that you could do these things before I got into this hobby. But I did want to take a minute to thank everyone who's emailed the channel at bucketponds@gmail. I appreciate you guys just, saying what's up. We have some friends offering to send us some equipment. We have some companies asking us to review their stuff, which is really cool. And yeah, just great to hear from you guys. And I'm loving all the comments lately. We're coming up on like 370 subscribers, which is a really big deal for us. Those bigger channels, they might not care so much about every individual subscriber, every viewer. But y'all are very important to me. And the positive vibes, they just help me keep going. It helps keep me motivated to continue to produce content. And I'm enjoying it, honestly. I haven't had so much fun and in a long time, These projects, the channel, everything that we do here. I just, I love it. It adds so much fulfillment to my life. But I wanted to thank you guys. And I'm answering every comment nowadays. So feel free to say hey, talk about the tanks. We have a request to do some detritus worm how-to setup videos very soon. So I'm going to check that out. And next week, we're going to have a how-to breed detritus worms video. I'll show you how to raise thousands of worms like we have in our other projects. So I'm going to leave you with some slow motion detritus worms. I love these tiny worms. I seem to be the only guy on Earth actively culturing these creatures. So if you want to learn about them and you want to learn how to grow thousands of them yourself, you've come to the right place. So thanks so much for the suggestion. I will, in fact, have us a new video up next week. We're going to set up a whole new tank for raising these tiny white worms. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. I'll show you exactly what goes into the tank and how to do it yourself. There's not any information available on raising these things online. Trust me, I looked. So if you're interested in raising detritus worms, maybe as fish food or just as interesting pets, I mean, I love them to death, and they're very entertaining to watch close up. Like, they move and flow in such beautiful ways. I will definitely have a video up about that soon. And I'm happy to share with you guys everything I've learned about them. So this is Bucket Ponds. My name is Terry. Please like and subscribe, and check out the channel for more. We have weekly videos and tons of content. Thank you.